Hello, and welcome to Canvas 101. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Dani Pugsley, and I'm the East Facilitator at Mountain Home High School in Mountain Home, Arkansas. To get started, again, thank you again for coming today, and this is the Parent Support Program. If you are unfamiliar with East, thank you for being here, and I have a quick little slide on what it is that the East Initiative is all about. We are a nonprofit that is headquartered here in Little Rock, Arkansas, and it's all about hands-on learning. And that's what I loved so much when I took on the role as facilitator at Mountain Home High School, was seeing that light bulb moment come on for so many different kids. But we are very proud of the opportunities that we have provided our students. So again, thanks for joining us for Canvas 101. All right, so for those of you that are truly unfamiliar to Canvas, Canvas is a learning management system, or LMS. And what is so important with these different LMSs is that your students are going to see them not only while they're in school, but if they decide to go on to college or trade school, 9 times out of 10, places will use some form of learning management system. So it may be Canvas, it may be Blackboard, it may be something different. So if you're like me in our district adopted Canvas in August. We were a late start. And one of the main reasons why parents ask me all the time, teachers were asking me, why on earth did we make this change? Because it seems very confusing. And my answer is, it helps to streamline the process. So for instance, for me, I have 3 children and they are all in 3 different buildings. And whenever COVID hit, I was using 3 different platforms to communicate with their teachers. One would use Google Classroom, one would use Facebook or Class Dojo. And so we as a district realized pretty quickly, hey, we need to do something to streamline this process. So even though it can seem like a total headache at times, I promise once you get used to it, it's very user-friendly. So with Canvas, as a parent, you are able to view the calendar of events for your kids' classes and their extracurriculars. So for instance, in Mountain Home, and you'll see here shortly, all the different clubs that my daughter is in, and there's a Canvas page. Her track team, there's a Canvas page. And it's all of her notifications are coming from one location. So I'm not having to constantly click between 5 different things. You can also receive notifications through text message or email. And that's what makes it really nice if you're on the go, is I have the Canvas app, which we'll talk about here in a minute too. And I can message my child's teachers and I can check their grades. I can do everything while I'm out and about, or if I'm sitting in the office, I can do it from my laptop. You're also able to view any of your child's missing assignments, which makes it really nice. And a lot of times their teachers will send you a notification if your child is missing something. So we've already mentioned web browser or mobile app. All right, so where do you start? So for those of you that are brand new and you haven't even paired with your child, pairing is a must. If you want to get connected to Canvas, you have to have that pairing code. Now, there's 2 ways to get this pairing code. The first one is your child's teacher may provide you with one, but it's really important to remember that those codes only last for a very limited time or they expire. So you may, if you're like me and you misplace that code and it's been a week or 2 and you try to log in and it says that you can't, don't panic. Your other option is your child can actually generate a code for you. Even if your child is in kindergarten, yes, they can get you a code. So I'm going to show you how to do that here in a few minutes too. Okay, so from your child's account, so let's say your child's teacher didn't give you that code, you can go into Noble or the global navigation, click on account, click settings. And again, I'll take you through this, I promise, step by step. Same thing, they're going to click pair with observer. And this is where you're going to enter that code. Once you have entered that code, you're connected with your child and you're good to go. You will not have to reconnect with them. And if you have multiple children, you will have to put in a different code for each child. Okay, so how do you even create an account? So this is where every school district I've noticed does something completely different. So in Mountain Home, we have on our district website, our our homepage has a link to take you here. Yeah, definitely follow the recommendation of your child's teacher on how to create that account. So what it's going to look like. So what I've done in Mountain Home is I've showed our screen. And so I can click parent of a Canvas user, and it's going to ask you to sign up. And this is where you want to put in your name, your email address, password, and there's that pairing code. I do recommend use an email address that you check often, because that's where you're going to receive your notifications. So if you're like me and you think, oh, I'm just going to give them my email account that I use for spam, that's great, but you might miss something important. Okay, so once you're in and you have that account and you have, let's say you have multiple children, that's where you can click on observing and put in your second or third or fourth code, and then you're gonna have all of your kids in one nice place. Okay, so customizing your dashboard. This is where it's gonna help you manage which course belongs to which child. So yes, I have 5 million tabs open. I hope everybody can still see my screen here. If for some reason you can't, let me know. All right, so I am going to go in as a parent. Log in. We're going to wait patiently. All right, so when I say dashboard, this is a dashboard. And if you're like me, again, with 3 kids in 3 different buildings, you may have, depending on how many children or how your child's school does this, you may only have 1 card or you may have several. And this can be very overwhelming. But this is where Canvas makes it really nice to help you stay organized. So down here, it'll tell you, okay, observing, Dylan, Devin, son, daughter, and then scroll down, you're gonna have my third, my little guy. Okay, what makes this really nice is if you click on these 3 dots right here, you can give it a nickname. So I can go ahead, I know that this is Dylan, so I can put in Dylan. I can change the color. Maybe I want all of Dylan's course cards to be red. Hit apply, there's Dylan. I can come over here, do the same thing. What's the nickname? Okay, I want this to be Devin. Hit apply, and now I have their names. What also makes it nice is you have the flexibility to drag and drop. So maybe Devin, let's put her first. I can drag and drop, and now I'm putting all of her stuff before her brothers. All right, so once you've decided how you want this to look, another option, maybe the cards aren't your thing. You can click on the 3 dots once again, and you can change your option to recent activity. This will let you know what has been happening recently. So between my 3 kids, there are 89 assignment notifications. That can be really overwhelming because there's sometimes that the teachers will send out notifications and you are getting way too much. So you have to decide, how much do I really want to know from this? Personally, I like the card view. I want to be able to see the classes that my kids are in. So we talked about those notifications. So over here on the left, this is called your global navigation. Okay, if you click on account, this is where the very first thing is notifications. Click that. Notifications is going to be your best friend. Because I had to realize very quickly, as a teacher and a mom of 3, I was receiving way too many notifications from Canvas. So this gives you the option to turn on and off notifications for whatever you decide. Maybe you want to know when due dates are coming up. Turn on your notification. Maybe you want to know when announcements are being made. To me, I chose notify me immediately. If the teachers feel that it's important enough to make an announcement, I want to know. Grading, I have chosen to do a weekly summary. So at the end of every week, I get 1 email that summarizes the grades for my child's class. So again, you can scroll through here and choose your notification preferences. Maybe you want everything. And that's totally fine too, but be prepared. Like you saw a minute ago, there might be 89 notifications creeping up in your email. And then all of a sudden you're gonna be like, make this stop. So notifications, and what makes it nice is once you've done it, this applies to all of your children. You don't have to go back and do it individually for each one, once and done. And this is where I said the observing. This will click, and if you click on here, it's going to tell you the students that you are observing. And if you need to add another one, you just simply put your pairing code there. Okay, so the little computer is the courses. This is going to tell you everything that your children are in. Calendar. The calendar makes it really nice once it loads, because this is going to help you figure out what assignments, what's going on in your child's world. So you'll see the different icons. This lets you know if there's a pencil, there's an assignment coming up, or maybe it's just an announcement. So here's a schedule for the first Wednesday. It was assigned to Devin. Here's a screenshot. This helps me know, okay, our school is running a special bell schedule on Thursday. Okay, this is Devin, so this means it's at the junior high. Here's my schedule. And again, you can do it by week, month, and over here, it'll tell you the different codes. So this has helped me tremendously just stay up to date with what is going on in my child's world. Okay, inbox. This makes it really nice to communicate with your child's teacher and for your teachers to communicate with you. So for instance, in several of our classes, whenever a teacher sends an announcement or a message to the students, they also CC the parents on it, which makes it nice if you have kids like mine that, well, I didn't know. I've heard that a time or two. But here's where it makes it really nice. I can click on the pencil to compose a new message. And I don't know how many of you have had the struggles that I have where I've had to search for my child's teacher's email address. You don't have to search anymore. It's automatically done for you. So I can come in, select the course, and favorites. Okay, so maybe I want to talk to the track coach or the Agri teacher, or we'll do East because I'm actually my daughter's teacher. So who are we going to send this to? Okay, who are the teachers in that class? Well, we're going to send it to Miss Pugsley. And you can type your message and click send, and it's automatically going to go to your child's teacher. And then you can communicate directly through your Canvas inbox versus having to go back and forth between your email. So it makes it really nice to keep everything in one location. History will just tell you the things that you've done, and then Studio. All right, so we'll go back here, and feel like I completely jumped ahead on a lot of things, but once I get going, forgive me, that's kind of how my mind works. So let me jump back to my presentation and see where we're at here. All right, so we've customized and adjusted our notifications. We have visited the calendar, and I believe Miss Amy is going to share this presentation so you guys can look back into it. We've learned to message a teacher. Okay, let's go to grades. If you're like me, this is a really important part. I want to know what's going on with my kids. So right here to the right-hand side, you'll see view grades. All right, these are my personal children, and I have no issues showing their grades. So don't feel like I'm showing other children's grades to the world. I promise they're just mine. So this will tell me which child and which class that they're in. I have the ability to see their quarter grade versus their semester grades. Scroll down, and it's all in one location. Okay, well, let's see. I did this last night. I noticed that my son's language grade was a little low. So if you want to know specifically what's going on in that class, you can click on that particular link. And it's going to take me to the grades specifically for that class. So it's going to show you all of the assignments, when they were due, and what your child's score was. So I was scrolling through here last night and then bam, realized that my son hadn't turned something in. But again, it's nice when it says missing. I know automatically what he didn't turn in, and then I can ask him, why didn't you turn this in? And it tells me what his grade is. Makes it very nice. And without even having to leave, I can go to any one of his classes. Let's see what he's doing in his math class. Click apply. Sorry for the delay. Ooh, now we're answering emails. That's what happens when you have way too many tabs open. Okay, so now we're in his math class and I can see what's going on. The other thing that makes it nice is I can click on print grades and I can actually print my son's report. So I can take this, if I'm at the office, I can take it home and say, what happened? All right, so going back. All right, so we've done that. Okay, really quick, before I get to the app, I want to just show you something. Going back to my dashboard and just navigating, this is something that honestly, it's a trial and error. Spend some time in your dashboard going through your child's classes, because what I've learned, and too, as a teacher, every school district and every building is going to be different. So for instance, at the high school where I teach, we did not have a specific template. So for instance, East, this is my class that my daughter's in. And when I click on my homepage, I will see any announcements that were made to her. Scroll down and I can click on announcements, modules, her grades, Basecamp, which is our project management system. Pretty easy to follow. But not every class is going to look that way. So that's why I would stress to familiarize yourself. So for instance, I can go to PE for my son, and his is going to look a lot different. So it's not that it's done wrong. It's just how the teacher prefers to lay things out. So at any given time, if you're just not sure what exactly your child is supposed to be doing, use your inbox. Shoot your child's teacher an email and say, hey, I'm having difficulties locating something. Is this something you can help me with? And a lot of times what I've realized too is my children have been able to help me quite a bit with that as well. Okay, so this is the lowdown with a desktop computer, what your dashboard. We've talked about notifications. We've talked about how to get your grades, your calendar to see what assignments are due. You'll also see up here, it'll tell you everything that's going on with what assignments are coming up. So before I switch over to the app side of it, Miss Amy, were there any questions for me, or does anyone have a question?
We don't have any questions yet.
Okay. All right. Then we will switch over to the app side. And all right, now the app is going to be a little bit more difficult to actually show you guys. So I'm going to try to talk you through it as best as I possibly can. So you can download the Canvas parent app for iOS devices and Android. Canvas has an app for teachers, for students, and for parents. So make sure you download the right one. It makes it really nice to log into Canvas. You can do it two ways. So let's say you've already created your account. You can simply find your school, whatever school your child is in, and that's where you're going to put in that username and password that you've already set up. My little guy who is in first grade, his teachers used QR codes. So I was able to take my phone at open house and I opened up the app, scanned the QR code, and I was already connected, which makes it really nice to do. So it's all going to come down to preference. Your students are able to produce those QR codes for you, just like they are the pairing codes. But once you're logged into the app, you should stay logged into that app. And just like you can on a desktop version, you can do manage all of your alerts. You can do your grades, missing assignments, do everything that you can from the desktop directly on your phone. Well, there we go. Like there was a video. Okay, so what I did last night is I actually screen recorded me using the app. So if I can get this video to load, and I really hope it, let's see. Might have to, why does it not want to let me do that? There we go. Okay, so again, once you get logged into that app, this becomes your global navigation. So you're going to see your inbox, manage your students, help change the user, or log out. Oh, and I knew that was going to happen. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to let this go through. Okay, so I can manage the students. I have the option to click any one of my children. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to just play this out and talk it through. Okay. So again, you can pick which student, and this is where you do the QR code or pairing code if you want to add somebody. All right, so this is what it'll look like, my inbox from my daughter. So you've seen it from the desktop version, and again, I can narrow down and pick which class. I can do the exact same thing that I was doing from the desktop. I can send the teacher the message directly through the app. And I apologize, this is going a little fast. I had anticipated to be able to pause it. Same thing with grades. This is, okay, I am gonna pause it. Oh, and I'm gonna lose it. Sorry, Miss Amy. Okay. The grade above or below or missing assignments. So what that was, you have the ability to set your notifications. If your child, let's say you want to be notified every time your child receives a grade below a 50% or 60%, you have the ability to set those notifications to where you will be notified immediately. This is just showing you what assignments actually look like from the app point of view. So again, it's very similar to that desktop. The announcements, modules, everything is still there. It just looks completely different. Now, sometimes don't worry, if you click on things, it will take you back to the main website. You haven't done anything wrong. It just changes it up a little bit. So again, classes, your grades, you can see all of the missing assignments. You have the ability to do your calendar. You can do all of that the same. So again, desktop, or what makes it really nice, if you're out on the go and your child tells you that they made a certain grade on a test and you want to question them, feel free to open that app. All right, so I'm going to pause this. And the last thing that I didn't include on the slide that I really want to show you is I want to show you what this looks like from a student perspective, because we know what it looks like now from the parent side. So now what does it look like? So I'm going to log out as a parent, and I am a Canvas trainer for my school district. So that allows me to have certain permissions to be able to go in and act as different people. So you unfortunately won't have this ability, but I'm going to play big brother on my daughter here, and I'm going to show you what it looks like from her account. So if your kids and your students have questions, you should be able to help them a little bit more. So give me just a moment here to log in as her. All righty. Yes, I want to proceed. Okay, so very similar to what your screen looked like, this is what my daughter sees every day when she logs into her account. All of her courses that she's enrolled in are here. She also has the same option to nickname her classes, color code them, and drag and drop. This is really helpful if your students are on block scheduling or the way that their courses work. So for instance, you'll see P2A, maybe your child wants to rename that to where it's something that they're going to know automatically what that is. There was some confusion in my building this year with what period certain classes actually were. Another thing your child has the option to do as well is maybe the cards are too much. They can go to list view. And now instead of the cards, it's going to take them to, these are the classes. This is what's going on today. Track coach has already made an announcement. So again, it's totally up to the preference of your child. I'm going to put that back so she doesn't. Let's see. Card view. Okay. You can also click on courses, and this is going to list every course that they're in. Now, a problem that we ran into at the high school this year, Canvas only allows so many cards on your screen at one time. If your child has a lot of courses that are only one semester, they may not all show up. So an easy way for your child to test that is to click on all courses. And this is going to show them what's active, and these are your past enrollments. So if there was ever something that said E2, then I would know, you know what, we need to bump this up, and your child has the ability to drag and drop that course. So if they ever can't find it, it will always be in all courses. So just like in the parent view, your child has the calendar, their inbox as well. So they have the ability to email their teachers almost immediately. They don't have to go back to their school email address anymore. I've actually asked and encouraged all of my students to email me directly through Canvas. So what does this look like, again, from their perspective? Okay, when she comes in, she'll click on East. And what you'll notice is that it's going to look exactly like yours did. The only thing that's going to be different is some of your child's assignments you won't have access to because you are in there as an observer. So she sees right now, these are her assignments. This is what's going on. She can click on announcements, grades, Basecamp, which is our project management system. So you'll see, so what does it look like for an assignment? Okay, so for instance, I gave my kiddos a discussion board post. And this is what she sees. Here's her questions. You'll always look for that submit button. That's what's going to also help you identify that something is an assignment. But again, for the most part, whatever you are seeing, your child is seeing as well. You just don't have the ability to interact. You will not see as a parent other child's discussion board post. And like I said, you won't have the ability to actually do the assignment. But it's very similar. So I know that was a lot of information to cover in a very short amount of time. The biggest thing that I can tell you is to definitely get yourself organized, especially if you have multiple children. It can be very overwhelming. Find a system that works for you. And just like with notifications for you, your child can do that as well. So my daughter came home and told me my email is blowing up, and then she stopped paying attention to them. So I had her go into her notifications and change when she gets notified and what she's getting notified for. If I want her to, again, add me, you can do the view observers, add observers, and you'll see her clubs. Everything is in one nice, neat place. So I know that was a lot of information in a short amount of time, but I hope I covered and answered any questions that you guys may have right now. So are there any questions?
So we don't have any questions yet, but if
Okay.
you guys have some, go ahead and put them in the chat. Let me just say, this is a lot of information. It's so neat that this is the way that school is done now, isn't it, Dani? Because you think about
Yes.
when we were in school, we didn't have these tools. And I love that they even have their clubs in this system. So
Everything, and that's what honestly has made it so nice as a parent, is everything that my kids are involved in is going into one location. I don't have to go find 5 million things anymore. And that's what we noticed more than ever when we went home for COVID and our school closed down, is parents were constantly emailing central office. I don't know what to look for. I don't know where to go. And so we decided we've got to do something, and we've got to do something quick. And it was scary for all of us. So if this is your child's teachers, if it's their first year to do Canvas, give them a little breathing room, because this has been a lot. If you're not a tech savvy person, I'm sure you're overwhelmed just watching the few things that I did today. So imagine being a teacher and now all of a sudden you're having to put all of your curriculum and content on a completely different platform. So I promise they're just as stressed, and they are trying very hard. So
but this is the wave of the future, isn't it? I think we're going to see more and more of this type of thing with our
it is.
schools.
And when your kids, leave school and they're off to college or whatever, wherever they go, chances are they're going to run into one of these systems again. So if they can become comfortable with it while they're in school, it's going to make that transition 10 times easier for them.
Well, we still don't have any questions, so I'm guessing you did an amazing job as expected.
Or they're just
everything.
they're so much more confused. They're like, yeah, I'm just done.
But this was awesome, Dani. Thank you so much. Like, I know that if I were a parent and my child were using Canvas, I'd feel a lot more comfortable with it after watching this session.
Play around with it. Click on things for sure. That seems to be that was how I figured it all out, is what worked and, oh, what's this button do? But once I figured out I need to check their grades, I need to look at a calendar, and I need to communicate with their teachers, that's what I focused on. What do I need first? And then I'll learn. But when my son tells me, oh, I did something, and I can pull it up on my phone real quick. No, you didn't.
Cool. Uh-oh.
That has really helped me out quite a bit.
That's awesome. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this session of the Parent Support Program. And be sure to tune in on Thursday. We're going to talk about computer troubleshooting and repairs. A lot different than Canvas, but I hope that you will join us for that one on Thursday. Thanks again for joining us.